Hi to all, I'm Dimitri Bellini. Okay. I'm the owner of Quadrata. It's a company, Italian company specialized on open source solution, and we are a Zabbix partner and trainer. We work for a lot of important IT branch, and mainly we are a partner for HP, IBM, and EMC. Today, I want to speak about Zabbix as a monitoring solution for SNMP monitoring. Because a lot of time we speak about Zabbix as a solution for server and not so much about switch. We now see that is a customer implementation of a storage area network made using a Brocade switch. Is an enterprise level of fiber optics network. In this customer, we have a very complex solution because we have 3 main sites dislocated in Italy. One site have near 14 switch, but monitored by Zabbix. This is a small case because now we are trying to extend Zabbix to another network of the same customer. But this kind of equipment, Brocade switch, have a lot of ports. And for every site, we have near 3,000 of ports. And is a very huge amount of items for every host. As you see, this is a high availability solution because the sites 1 is interconnected with site 2, and we have another sites called the disaster recovery site that have the same amount of switch near. And also Zabbix monitoring these sites. Before Zabbix 2.0, we are not able to give this kind of monitoring solution to our customer because before 2.0 we don't have low-level discovery. And on this kind of equipment, monitoring 1 or 100 or 1,000 of ports is impossible because we have to create a XML template and add to the host. Pre-create every single item is very complex solution using XML template. But now we have a low-level discovery from 2.0, and it's a miracle because it's automatic discovered every port. It's very simple to say monitor this device, and using a SNMP query, we are able to discover every switch. At the moment, we use in production this kind of hardware. Is HP ProLiant, is good server with near 64 gigabit for RAM. We also have a MySQL inside this server. We don't have a separate solution. Zabbix coexists with MySQL, and we use storage from a SAN, so it's very fast storage solution. But, this is an overview of the load on this server. It's not so huge now. It's near 900 or new value per second, but we have to improve the monitoring, so we are probably in a few months we are able to monitoring other switch, and the value, I think, and they increase it near to 1,500 new value per second. Okay, no laser. No. Okay. Oh, sorry. What we can see is a lot of items and not so much host. Because for the network of this device, we have a lot of items to monitor for a single port. And we have found a lot of problems. This is the discovery rules for our SNMP device. We also asked to Zabbix Team to provide a new functionality 1 year ago about context name, because this new equipment supports sort of virtualization. So a single device can you can separate the ports in sub switches, but we have only one device, and the problems come here, because for every port we have these prototype items. Is near 15 items. We don't use so high update interval. Is a good compromise. And this is an example of what we are discover. This is a common port name, slot and port name. But this is the problem of low-level discovery. In 2.0, oh, sorry, it's not 2.06. This image is coming from the beginning of 2.0. And as you can see, every time we discover this device, low-level discovery bring our process Polar process to high level. So with Zabbix Team and the support, we work so hard to understand how we can change the query and how we can change low-level discovery process. And today, I have to say 2.2 is very good. And the performance is very good for low-level discovery. We don't use so much CPU. Usually we have 4% of usage of Polar, so not so much. And usually we have a very slow CPU load. Solved problem. SNMP context as a feature request to Zabbix Team. Low-level discovery is improved in this year, and maybe we have a fix every, you fix every problem, and they create a better way for value mapping. Value mapping is very useful because we collect SNMP data, and sometimes we need to translate the value with a correct value map. And on Zabbix 2.2, they've implement some good feature for that. Also, the history syncer is much better in 2.2. And in the beginning, we start using Zabbix with partitioning. But partitioning is very complex and need a lot of maintenance because we have to create some script to clean the partition, and it's not so easy for everyone. So at the moment, we are using the standard history keeper, the standard housekeeper inside Zabbix. and we see not so much problem. Better cache, also this one is very good for our installation in Zabbix 2.2. The caching system is better, and we have also very good performance at all in our installation. The bad things, we still have some problem. Slow latest data. I think a lot of us know this problem. Probably in 2.6 something is better, I think, but is still slow. Maps is still slow because our device have a lot of items and a lot of trigger. So, for example, we have 3,000 of trigger in single maps, and if one show every site in one single maps, the query is very big, and our maps actually they need 2 minutes to reload. Probably with 2.26 something is better also in this area, but we have to, I think Zabbix have to work on. Also, low-level discovery feature, enable, disable a prototype, a trigger, prototype trigger inside the low-level discovery. At the moment, we can't enable and disable and propagate this information to every host. The only solution is delete and recreate the trigger. I think I prefer to have the chance to change, enable and disable from the template. Because sometimes we want only test a new trigger, and if everything is working, we can enable to every host connected to this template. But someone say is by design, no? Okay. One thing we have understand in these 2 years of partnership with Zabbix and works with customer is they don't like Zabbix interface from a point of view of boss or user, non-technician point of view. They prefer have a custom view of the data because it's too complex sometimes to show the right items or the right value from the Zabbix dashboard. So we have created a custom dashboard based on Zabbix API. So Zabbix API is fantastic for personal customization and to sell Zabbix to big company. They prefer to have a single point to show and focus on problem of this kind of equipment, for example. And I think Zabbix have to work on improved API, and they work, I know. And if it's possible, to create a much more fancy dashboard. Some other example of Zabbix API in another dashboard for a storage array, because the storage array is another enterprise device, common, that you can find in this big company. At the moment, we don't have a good plugin or a good tool to monitor performance of storage array. I think we need that, but I think it's very complex. Another example using Zabbix API for monitoring free capacity and the usage rate for storage array pool. And the good parts of Zabbix is customizable. I think Zabbix is very good for enterprise with respect to other solution. We have moved our customer from closed solution because mainly because closed software is not so support and is not flexible like Zabbix. A lot of time we see closed solution not so enterprise because they can change when customer ask for a new feature. Zabbix is able to change or made some improvement when the customer asks. And I think it's very, very important. Flexible, because we can monitor everything. In this presentation, we see Zabbix monitoring a strange device, because it's not so common to have a lot of storage, a lot of switches, fiber optical switches. Usually we have monitoring hosts, so Zabbix is very flexible. Good data interpolation, trigger. Trigger is very, very good. For example, in our case, we have noticed in the beginning the flapping of the trigger, but using hysteresis feature, we are able to mitigate the problem. And actually, we have a very huge trigger and very complex trigger to determine the problem inside a storage area fabric. Agent support for every enterprise system operating system. Oh, sorry. In big enterprise, they use HP, UX, AX, and Windows, yes, and every Linux system. And I think Zabbix have a very good agent to suite this kind of requests. Balance and support in price because Zabbix is very cheaper compared to enterprise closed solution from HP or Symantec or other closed or main brands. So Zabbix is the right choice for enterprise. The bad parts. Lack of reporting tool. So it's not so easy to sell Zabbix as a single software for your customer because you need to customize. You have to do some works because, as I said before, the boss like shiny graphs, beautiful Excel file, and so much. So we need to work on custom development. Not enough fancy ergonomic user interface, yes. Not support for enterprise monitor protocol like SIEM. A lot of storage array using SIEM as a way to exchange information to a closed monitoring solution. I know it's not so much common in low-end situation, low-end customer, but big customer, they need to monitoring a storage array and also other device that use SIEM. Not Zabbix server native high availability. We need, as I said, Alan, in the presentation, we need Zabbix Zabbix distribution system, like a shared database. We need fault tolerance Zabbix process. Because in enterprise, they don't like stop Zabbix and don't monitoring every farm because Zabbix have a fault. They want a high availability solution. And something to easy scalability, because we have a lot of problem when we decide to retain the data, history data and trends in the single server. We have a lot of problem of slow query, and it's not so much scalable at the moment. I hope in some NoSQL solution. And nothing. I finished my presentation. If you have some question about that, I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
I have a question about graph image. How you can receive the graph image through the Zabbix API?
We use we don't use graphs from Zabbix. We collect the items, the value of the items from API. We ask for give me every value for this item, and we use, for example, high charts to design the graphs.
So you generate graph image on the dashboard, yes, themselves, not using Zabbix engine.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We only use the value.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing.
I have a question about monitoring SNMP busy SNMP devices. Have you met such issue if network or any device are very busy, they are not always answering to SNMP?
Yes, I forgot to say here, we have a support ticket open in these days about SNMP bulk functionality feature. No? Using SNMP bulk, we can light the device because bulk in the request in a single or maybe in few requests to the device. Actually, this kind of the device is just a little flooded from Zabbix because every item is a request, SNMP request. And we see from device point of view a lot of CPU usage and also some timeout on the request from Zabbix. We try to move to SNMP bulk, but actually seems to not work so well, SNMP bulk feature. We found a strange behavior. Some poller is every poller inside our installation is used for 3 seconds, 4 seconds to the high level, or maybe they use every poller inside of my installation, and after 3 seconds, no poller is used. After 4 seconds, every poller is used. So it's very strange behavior, and we have to probably Zabbix here have to fix that because SNMP bulk is very useful for the problem.
Actually, my question was. This is related because Zabbix is only one solution that can ask questions to SNMP devices. So I'm relying to your experience about that. I was looking around but didn't find nothing useful. Have you met any SNMP proxies maybe that can collect information from device and answer to many monitoring solutions, like networking team want to ask own questions to device, Zabbix, let's say, ask the second time the same questions, but they could ask some proxy. Have you, do you know such solution?
We prefer to stay simple to our customer because they do maintenance from itself. No, so in this scenario we don't have so much complexity. We have only a Zabbix server to ask this information to the device. Only because it's much more simple. It's not perfect. It's not the best solution. But is the simple solution. if you want to ask something, I think we can speak in the break.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing.
So the main idea is to have some kind of C or Erlang, so fast language proxy. We have some implementation, some ideas to proxify the SNMP traps and SNMP values. So it's not a simple solution, but we have ideas and scratches. So that's all. That's all idea I have to say. We have some scratches for the question of this guy.
Okay, okay.
That's why.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.